Breaking at 6, a major development in the investigation of sexual assault allegations against Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott.
A new pro-Palestine demonstration breaks out at the University of Texas in Arlington. What students are doing there that's different?
I'm Kevin Reese at the Collin County Jail, where protesters vowed to stay in place and continue their support for the UTD protesters arrested yesterday, vowing to stay here until they are all released. The story coming up.
Plus, Caitlin Clark arrives in Dallas for her first game as a WNBA player.
And if they're looking for beaver nuggets, they're in the right place. Guess where we found these beavers in North Texas? WFAA News at 6 starts now. And we begin with two breaking stories, with the first happening in Wise County. Right now, Alvord ISD is busing students from its elementary, middle, and high schools to First Baptist Church after being on lockdown this afternoon.
There was a report of a person who possibly had a gun going to one of the school buildings, so officials kept students and teachers inside as a precaution. No person with a gun was ever located and no one was injured. We just learned after-school activities are still going on as planned, and we will have a live report from the Reunification Center in just a few minutes.
We also have breaking news involving the sexual assault allegation against Dak Prescott.
We just learned that Dallas police are not recommending any charges against the Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
Senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez broke the news of the investigation and joins us live with what this new development means.
Well, the Dallas Police Department won't be filing charges against Dak Prescott, and the district attorney confirms they have not received a case. Sources say detectives could find no evidence that a crime occurred, and the statute of limitations had also run out. In March, Prescott's lawyers filed a lawsuit against a woman who they claim was trying to extort $100 million from him. Prescott's attorney says the woman and her lawyers wanted the quarterback to pay the money, or they would go to authorities to file criminal charges. Prescott's attorneys say he denied the allegations and filed charges with Prosper Police, accusing her and her lawyers of extortion. The alleged victim's attorneys this week filed a motion asking Prescott to drop the lawsuit against her. In a statement, they said, "We believe Prescott's filing was meant to silence his sexual assault victim and is a violation of Texas's anti-SLAPP statute, which prohibits different forms of retaliatory lawsuits." Prescott's attorneys fired back in a statement, Levi McCatherine saying the defendant's motion to dismiss is total nonsense. They have yet again misrepresented the relevant facts and misconstrued the law as it applies to them. They go on to accuse the woman of fabricating allegations. Prescott's attorneys also go on to say that since Dallas County has, quote, rightfully closed its investigation into the alleged victim's claims, they will be filing malicious prosecution against the woman and her attorneys. Also, they still face charges by Prosper PD on Prescott's extortion allegation. Chris and Izzy, back to you.
A lot to unpack there. Thank you, Rebecca. Now to a live look from our tower cam. We saw heavy rain this morning, and some areas could get more tonight. What can we expect, Pete?
Well, more rain tonight, Chris, but it won't be as widespread tonight as it was last night. Last night was almost 100% coverage, and right now a severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for far western sections of North Texas. It's three of our westernmost counties. We're looking at Graham, Breckenridge, and Eastland. These are the counties that are under the thunderstorm watch until 10 tonight. Right now, we're all clear here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but out in the rolling plains of Texas, out in the big country around Abilene, that's where we have some severe thunderstorms. That's where they are at 8, and watch this. They just fall apart as they run off to the east and move into the cap. They'll diminish, but we'll have a scattering of rain possibility overnight. 30–40% of us overnight will see rain, as opposed to about 90% of us last night. We wake up tomorrow morning with a little bit of scattered rain, and the rain coverage not that high Friday night and Saturday, but it really ramps up Saturday night and Sunday, and I have several more inches on the way. I'll have that weekend rainfall timeline and the full total outlook coming up.
Tonight, 21 protesters arrested at the University of Texas Dallas are now out of jail. They were taken into custody during a protest yesterday. Kevin Reese is live at the Collin County Jail, where supporters rallied all day. Kevin?
Yeah, the protests have ended here at the Collin County Jail, but apparently have not ended on the campus of UT Dallas. In fact, as the last of those 21 were released earlier today, they vowed that the protests will continue on campus, perhaps as early as tomorrow.
Free our people, freedom all!
The crowd at the main entrance of the Collin County Jail grew by the hour. Supporters promising to stay here and to stay loud until all 21 arrested on Wednesday were released.
The system is against us, but we are stronger than the system.
They brought enough food to last the day, enough chalk to leave their messages all over jail sidewalks and walls. And as the first protesters walked free around noon, Ali Asghar Libhai among them, an assistant professor of art history at UTD. The cheers grew louder as he raised his fist in the air. Free Palestine! Most of the 21 are accused of criminal trespass. Only one family member allowed inside the jail to watch the arraignments. Among them, senior computer science student Musa Najjar, released from jail late this afternoon.
Was this experience worth it for you to make this point?
We make sacrifices for the Palestinian cause regardless. People in Gaza are sacrificing their own lives for this to liberate Palestine. This is the least we could do for our people.
And they promise to continue protesting despite a night in jail, joining students from across the U.S., believing they can get their universities to divest from all companies involved in sending weapons to Israel.
We're going to continue to protest. We're protesting tomorrow, actually, at UTD. So that does not stop us at all.
And as expected, this video just a short while ago, those messages in chalk written on the sidewalks and on the walls outside the Collin County Jail, many of them PG, but many of them not, and very anti-police, were pressure washed by a Collin County crew just a few minutes ago. Meanwhile, UTD says it continues to welcome freedom of speech on its campuses, but blocking walkways and setting up encampments, those will not be welcomed. At the Collin County Jail, I'm Kevin Reese.
And less than 40 miles from there, students are staging their own pro-Palestine demonstration at the University of Texas in Arlington. They're peacefully gathering outside the main library right now and following university guidelines that mandate no tents or structures that could be considered temporary shelters. The protesters are using lawn chairs, tarps, and umbrellas instead. Campus police are keeping an eye on the group and had to arrest a staff member earlier this afternoon for bringing 2 tents to the demonstration. We'll be monitoring all these protests throughout the evening, so look for updates at WFAA News at 10 and online at WFAA.com.
Back to that breaking news out of Wise County, where all Alvord ISD students are being bused to a church after their schools were put on lockdown. Scoop Jefferson just arrived at the First Baptist Church, where parents are being reunified with their children. Scoop, what are you seeing?
Well, right now, the sheriff's deputies are basically surrounded the church here for public safety reasons, obviously because of that threat. As you just mentioned, I'm going to step out of the way and give you a look behind me. This is where parents are being reunited with their children. All of the schools were told that they were to pick up, all the parents rather from all the schools were told they were to pick up their children here. And here's how this all went down. The sheriff's department got a call about a person headed to one of the schools with a gun here in Alvord ISD. All campuses went on lockdown, and the sheriff's department advised parents and the public to stay away from the schools. The Wise County Sheriff told me that they received assistance from other agencies to do sweeps on all campuses. They did not find a person with a gun. They did not find any weapons. Now the plan is to reunite parents with their children here at the church, and that's happening right now. The Sheriff's Department says since Alvord ISD is a small district, they were able to respond quickly to all of the campuses to keep everyone safe. Exactly where that phone call came from, the Sheriff's Department doesn't know right now. That's under investigation. But again, they did not find a person with a gun. They did not find any weapons on the campuses either. Parents from all of the schools are here. It is very, very busy here. And again, they have sheriff's deputies surrounding the district, the church rather, from block to block to keep everyone safe as parents pick up their children. Again, they're very relieved that no weapon was found and no person was found with a gun as reported in that phone call. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, very glad to hear everybody's okay. Thanks, Scoop. You know, we're only 24 hours away from Caitlin Clark making her WNBA debut right here in Dallas against the Wings. Lead sports anchor Joe Trahan joins us live with some new details on the rookie superstar's arrival.
Yeah, hey, Chris, thanks so much. Yeah, it's Caitlin Fever, adding yet another level to what is an incredible sports week here in North Texas. The WNBA's top draft pick is poised to make a serious impact on the national sports landscape, and the WNBA is already benefiting from her arrival with interest in the league at an all-time high. And Caitlin is here. She has landed. Clark arriving with her team earlier today at DFW. Now, she has a bodyguard escorting her. That comes with the territory when you're the new face of the league. Her first ever WNBA game will be the preseason opener for the Dallas Wings on the campus of UTA tomorrow night. Clark creating so much buzz on the heels of her remarkable college career. She set the all-time collegiate record for scoring across men's and women's basketball, and her incredible shot making has us all wanting more. Tomorrow's game will tip up at 7 o'clock. Clark providing the national interest in what will be a great day for DFW sports fans, with the Mavs and Stars both trying to close out their first round playoff series. It will be an absolute blast. Meanwhile, here at the Nelson today, one golfer causing a serious stir at the 17th. I'll have the details and tell you what's going on there coming up later in sports. Izzy?
All right, thank you, Joe. And coming up, we have just learned that water rescues are taking place right now due to major flooding in southeast Texas. We have some new images that are just coming into the newsroom. We'll be back. We're back with breaking news on the roads. Traffic is still being affected and backed up on the Dallas North Tollway right now near the George Bush Turnpike. Dallas Fire Rescue told us a construction crane rolled off the truck around 2 p.m. And at this point, they don't believe anyone was injured and no other cars were involved. That said, drivers should expect delays throughout the evening, so avoid the tollway if possible.
And now we want to take a look at flooding from the Houston area. Flooding there has forced power outages and schools to close in what officials are calling a life-threatening situation. More than 80,000 homes without power right now. You see cars underwater. And our sister station in Houston is saying that mandatory and voluntary evacuations have been issued for several communities right now near the San Jacinto River. The river there, which is usually 40 to 50 feet above sea level, it's 78 feet above sea level right now. So pretty dangerous situation happening to the south of us this evening.
That's terrible. Well, the good news is the rain has stopped. The bad news is they have more rain on the way this weekend.
Stories of survival from deadly tornadoes.
My sister ran in her room to grab her baby and grabbed the baby, and all I saw was her just being taken away.
The devastation is widespread, and tonight, what we're learning about the families who lost loved ones and what's needed to help victims get back on their feet.
Severe thunderstorm watch in effect for North Texas this evening. We'll talk the timing and what you can expect for the rest of tonight. More storms, more severe weather possible this week as well.
The Stars north of the border trying to get a leg up against the Oilers in their Western Conference Finals series, why their goaltender gives them a great chance.
Live from downtown Dallas, WFAA News at 6 starts now.
We have storms moving through North Texas this evening, some dropping hail up to golf ball size. This is video from a viewer named Jared in Kessler Park. And here are some photos of hail for comparison. This hailstone in Trinity Grove's larger than a quarter. And Claire Johnson shared 3 hailstones smaller than a golf ball. Let's get right to meteorologist Kyle Roberts for the latest on the storms right now.
Yeah, that's my main concern. The rest of the evening and into the nighttime hours are storms with a hail threat. This is not a repeat of what we saw this weekend here in North Texas. That's why we have a severe thunderstorm watch in place for all of DFW and to the south, a little bit west and east of DFW as well until 10 o'clock tonight. Not very many storms, but the ones that are out there have quickly turned severe. A little bit of activity trying to develop in southern Denton County. We'll need to watch some of those storms because if they follow the trend of every other storm in North Texas so far this evening, they'll likely turn severe with a hail threat as well. The storm that was in northern Dallas County is completely fizzled out at the moment. It dropped hail from Richardson to Garland, but now probably Well, I mean, the sun maybe not completely coming out in those locations, but really nothing happening there. This storm moving through Ferris right now continues to be severe, although with the last radar scan, it does look like it may be trying to weaken just a little bit, but certainly some gusty winds and some pocket change size hail happening with that one. That severe thunderstorm warning does run until 6:30. Here's some timing as that storm moves to the south. Palmer here in the next 10 to 20 minutes or so. Rosser basically in the next 10 minutes. Ennis, if the storm can survive long enough, be about 6:45 or so. So these storms are just going to bubble up and down through the rest of the day as we continue to have the heat of the day. Overall coverage will be low. Some of you will see storms. A lot of you will not. If you have any outdoor plans the remainder of Memorial Day, keep an eye on the sky and move things inside if lightning is nearby. Even if it's not raining overhead, move things inside if any lightning is nearby you. If you can hear thunder or see lightning, move it indoors. Tomorrow, here's your severe weather threat. It's a slight to an enhanced risk, a 2 to 3. Let's talk the timing and details when I return.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. And the threat of more storms is devastating for families who lost everything to tornadoes over the weekend. Cleanup efforts continue in several communities of North Texas, and we are hearing dramatic stories of survival and heartbreaking memories of those lost in the storms. In just the last few hours, we have received these pictures of two of the youngest storm victims. 2-year-old Essence and 5-year-old Tyreek McCrary, the brother and sister among the 7 victims in the Valley View area of Cook County. The National Weather Service reports an EF2 tornado traveled from Monte County through Valley View to Lake Ray Roberts, and an EF3 hit Collin County near Salina. We have live team coverage on the recovery effort, beginning with Chris Lawrence anchoring our coverage from Valley View. Chris, the debris is everywhere in that town.
Yeah, Izzy, it is impossible to mix. I can look clear down the road this way and lose count of the number of homes that have been destroyed, and then I can turn around and I can say the exact same thing. And while as a journalist, of course, it's our responsibility to get an accurate accounting of the damage, as a father, there is nothing more precious in this world than a child, and none of us could imagine the pain of losing one, let alone 2. But that's what one grieving family is faced with right now. Scoop Jefferson is live right down the road from here with a new perspective of what that family is going through right now.
Yeah, Chris, they're going through a lot right now. I'm actually standing in the middle with what used to be their home. There is nothing here left of their home. Even their belongings are gone. As you can see, there's nothing but bricks, which served as a foundation for their home. This all happened as their 12-year-old sister was babysitting. And hours after the storm, searchers came here looking for the 2- and 5-year-old brother and sister, and they found their bodies in a pond behind a home next door. The family of 2-year-old Essence McCrary and her 5-year-old brother Tyreek shared these photos. The siblings are among 7 people who did not survive weekend tornadoes that hit Valley View. Their 12-year-old sister, Zamaya McCrary, is hospitalized with back injuries. Maritza Mina's family lives
There's a walking area here
right next door. The tornado tossed them around inside the house.
Both of them landed very close to each other, I would believe. My mother said she could hear my sister in the distance moaning.
A county official confirmed they found the 2 siblings in the pond behind Maritza's family home. Her mother and sister are recovering from serious injuries.
My mom, she's still in the hospital. She's in the ICU. She broke her spine in half in the middle.
I'm gonna die. I was scared. That scared me to death.
Just one street over, Donna Boggs and her 81-year-old father feared for their lives. They too lost a neighbor, a man killed when his home collapsed. Right now, Valley View is packed with hundreds of volunteers. Tornado victims are getting help from family, friends, and even strangers. And after learning the tornado killed 7 people altogether, including the 2- and 5-year-old siblings.
Oh, we're very blessed. I might not have a place to live and call myself homeless, but thank God I have my 2 feet, I'm standing, I can drink some Gatorade.
In Valley View, I'm Scoop Jefferson.
Unfortunately, the McCrary family is not the only family that is experiencing an immense loss, and tonight we're learning more about some of the other victims who did not survive this storm. Take a look right here in Valley View. The Esparza family was in their mobile home when the storm hit. Laura Esparza was killed along with two of her children, 15-year-old Miranda and 9-year-old Marco. The children's father is still hospitalized with serious injuries right now, and their loved ones have set up a GoFundMe account to help the family. If you'd like to help, we have a link to that account on WFAA.com. Even the people who survived this storm did go through and experience an incredible trauma. Tiffany Liu has a firsthand account of a family that lost multiple homes and a mother who was seriously injured protecting her baby.
This is the camper that was right here.
It feels endless.
And then this is my house.
The destruction.
Which was originally right here.
Where Abby Peters and her sisters grew up.
My family, we've owned this property since 1992.
Whereas moms, they raised their children.
Just kind of looking around and seeing what is left.
Not much is left after Saturday's tornado leveled both their homes on their family land.
My sister ran in her room to grab her baby.
Her younger sister, Veronica Bowers.
All I saw was her being taken away. The house started shaking and she went this way and we were in the closet and then the house just started to move.
They found Veronica yards away.
Oh my goodness.
Under the rubble, what once was her home.
Veronica was over here by this couch.
With 9 fractured ribs, a punctured lung, and a blood clot.
She had that baby in her arms the whole time.
Veronica was still protecting her 10-month-old daughter, Zola Bell, as her family dug her out.
She did not let go of her.
Besides a bruise, the baby was not hurt. Abby says her sister put others above herself.
Whenever the tornado started to happen, she was on the phone with one of her employees. And her employee heard her screaming, and then he told everybody that was in the gas station to take cover.
Veronica is the general manager of the Shell gas station where 125 people hid during the storm. The tornado first destroyed her home before twisting 2 miles to her work.
The main thing is that we're all okay and we have each other.
At a hospital in Fort Worth, Veronica is healing, knowing Valley View will not be the same when she returns.
Now everything's gone. It's gone.
And Veronica still has a long way to go, but she is seeing improvement. Right now, her medical team is just trying to help her manage her pain. But in this very moment, Chris, she's actually holding her daughter in her arms right now, and I think that's going to go a long way for her recovery. Let's send it back to you.
Yeah, God bless her and that baby. Thank you so much, Tiffany. And you know, when we see a natural disaster on this scale, one thing you can count on is seeing the very best of North Texas shine through. And we can't even count all the ways the community has been stepping up to help those in need. Volunteers have been coming to drop off just about everything from food and water to clothes and household supplies. The city has put out a list of specific items they need, and they're collecting it all at the community center on Lee Street. The list includes flashlights, batteries, bug spray, sunscreen, toilet paper, Depends, diapers, and brown paper bags. And if you'd like to help, we're making it easy to donate to our partners at the Red Cross. All you have to do is scan this QR code. It'll take you to a donation page. And don't worry, you can designate that your donation be used specifically for Texas storms and floods. Izzy, I know you were out here yesterday and got a firsthand look at the damage, and you know, seeing it is really hard to put into words, but hopefully with all of that money and donations coming in, if it even makes a few families' life a little bit easier, then that's something that we can at least point to that as something positive coming from this.
Something positive, that's right, Chris. There's so much trauma and tragedy there, and we cannot forget our fellow Texans. Thank you. And tonight at 10, we will have more stories of recovery from the hard-hit areas and how the victims are being remembered. We are just a little more than an hour away from the Dallas Stars taking on the Edmonton Oilers in Game 3 of the Western Conference Final. Joe Trahan traveled to Edmonton, Alberta, way north of the border, where the game gets underway at 7:30 tonight. And Joe, it's going to be an electric one.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's actually relatively calm here now at Rogers Place. Just a few fans trickling in as they get ready for Game 3. But listen, this place is going to go crazy. And this is one of those situations where Stars netminder Jake Ottinger can make all the difference in the world again. In fact, Ottinger coming off perhaps his best period of the playoffs so far, the first period in Game 2. He faced 16 shots in that first period and stopped all but one. The only reason the Stars had a chance to win that game was because of his brilliance. Several of those first period saves were on high danger scoring chances, making the effort that much more remarkable. And so with the energy tonight's crowd will create, the Stars will need a similar performance from their netminder to try and take their first lead in the series.
You know, Otts is a big fan of playing in a away rink. He loves being the villain. I think a lot of us kind of embody that as well.
I think we've done a good job of defending them as a group and, you know, making smart plays when they're on the ice and just being disciplined and staying out of the box has been huge, and we're obviously going to need that, especially tonight.
Yeah, Dallas's defense got progressively better in front of Ottinger in Game 2. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Also, the area in which the Stars have been absolutely superb, that's coming up, as well as an update on the health of Mavs big man Derek Lively II. That's all coming your way later in sports. But right now, we'll take a break. News 8 at 6, coming back with more after this.